team and be a boss and pay people and like and be like so politically educated. It's exhausting. And it's also impossible.
One thing that's quite interesting when you look into more liberal or progressive circles is that, especially when it comes to POC, especially when it comes to minorities of any kind, is that if you are often white or white presenting and you profess yourself to be a liberal, or if you're from an upper class and you do the same, there will be a tinge of reluctancy from minorities and POC because they want to see where you place yourself in the equation first. Because the difference is that there are a lot of people who will be liberal, but they are seeing themselves as the protagonist. They are seeing themselves as the person who is there to fix the problem and be the hero for everyone, which has its uses. But there are also people who see themselves as being part of a greater movement to fix a problem that has been around for generations. And those people are more greatly accepted because they understand that it is not about them. It is about everyone. It is about benefiting everybody. People you agree with, people you disagree with. But the former, people who consider themselves heroes in this story, people who will lead the charge to fight a movement or whatever, those are considered to be less trustworthy because they often have a bit of naivete as to what their standing is, how much they're actively risking, and what it actually means to go through what people are experiencing. I myself owe my existence almost entirely to politics. I cannot afford to be apolitical. My grandfather was able to come to the United States due to legislation passed in the 1960s. My parents were born before Loving v. Virginia, so when they were born, they legally did not have full rights to marry each other. My father was interested in aerospace engineering because of the Cold War and the funding poured into it. So essentially, a great deal of my existence is owed to politics. And as a result, I feel obligated to study politics and to be fully aware of my political situation and circumstances, as well as that of my family and friends who happen to be part of the LGBTQIA community. So seeing Chappell Roan, an artist I've been following since September of 2023, state that she doesn't have the ability to be politically knowledgeable when she herself built a platform of music and a fan base around drag culture really stings, because there is no way that you can understand fully what drag culture entails without understanding the politics and the history behind it. There is no way that drag culture can exist in an apolitical space. Not when Texas is actively trying to ban it. Not when Texas is actively trying to ban makeup for men in public spaces. Not when you have to see how puritanical repression, forced conformity, this idea of gender norms, religiosity, all in the United States has led to the formation of the current drag culture of today. Another thing about liberals who are often seeing themselves as the protagonist of a story is that they seem to be incredibly naive about what they've experienced. Because if you're complaining about how exhausting it is to be politically knowledgeable, how do you think it feels for the actual victims of that marginalization? I imagine Chappell herself is feeling incredibly tired having to deal with learning about all of these things while managing her career. How do you feel about people who don't have a career because of their identity? How do you feel about trans service members who don't know whether or not they'll be able to stay in the military? Trans people who I know personally who have had to move states in order to find places that are willing to accept their identities. If you ever catch me saying that I'm too tired to learn about something that affected someone that I care about, not something that actually personally affected me, please stop me and hold me accountable on that, because I better not be saying that anytime in the future.